got to do a presentation later today about order forms. And it just occurred to me that we're always like, oh, you should submit copy and we review copy, but nobody submits an order form. And the truth of the matter is that an order form can have just as much of an effect on the conversion as the actual sales letter, right? Because if you get people to the order form and let's say half of them complete it, if you bump that up by 10%, you've bumped your conversions up by 10%. So it's not copywriting per se, although there should be some copy on the order form, right? You should remind them of why they got to the order form, re-evoke the vision or the dream that the copy that brought them there conjured up, remind them of what they're getting. And just to make sure that it's so clear to them what to do, because someone's confused up when they get to the order form, they're just not going to order, right? Nobody's going to send money when they're in a confused state. Is it easy to fill out, right? Have you had people, friends, relatives try to fill it out and see what happens? And they go, oh, I didn't know where to put my credit card, or I wasn't sure if you took American Express, or whatever it is. All those things are customers being lost at that point. And they got to the order form, right? They're ready to buy, or at least they're curious about buying. And we let them, too often they fall through the cracks. Please send order forms as well as copy. And let's take a look to how to bump that up. And then, of course, autoresponders that go after they've been to the order form, if you've captured their email address. As I understand it, when Stan and I, when we sell my copywriting course, most of the people that buy don't buy from the sales letter, from the order form. They give their name, they give their email, and we follow up with them, and they wind up buying over time.
Yeah, it's the easiest way. Again, anyone who's tested this has their story of the copy on the order form is probably the single biggest thing you can do. And once the rest isn't terrible, right? If you're losing people in the headline, but it does make a difference. Just why this is the best idea they've had, because you've done that. Every one of us have done that. We've been interested enough to tap that order button, and then we're still thinking about it, but now we're that far. What I've done with almost everything we sell, all of you who have been through this, is, and a lot of people told me this was a bad idea, but the numbers was stand up. For all the opt-ins, it's just, I just want email address, right? That's the point. It just a few fields as possible to move people through the funnel. But when you get that, they're ready to buy, we do everything in 2 phases. And I did this over time. It's like step 1, name and email. Remember, these are people on their way to buy. They're not looky-loos. And if they're really still looky-loos, I don't care if they turn around because they're looky-loos, right? But if they're serious, if they're even that serious about buying, that always goes on the order form, name and email. And then when you get to the actual order form, there's copy and the fields are filled in. You don't have to do it again. So and especially if you bought anything from us before, all your stuff is there. Your shipping your billing address is there, right? So the tech is really good that way. But the 2 things with that is then we got your email address in step 1. So we can send the, hey, and we send them, we get one a couple of minutes later, and then you get one tomorrow, and they're short emails. We're assuming, especially the first couple. I assume in 10 minutes, you didn't forget the offer already. It's just to get you back to the order form. And then we also put in 2 of those if you have any questions. We don't do that too early in the process because you get just looky-loos will ask not buyer questions. But someone that gets to the order form, they're still not buyer questions. Is this right for me? I sell fish. Should I buy your course? Those, you don't follow up with those people. But you get some people who are buying, they're asking buyer questions. It's very detailed, it's specific application. And so those are the people we do follow up with, usually pretty quickly. Like we try to get to those people fast. And everything David said, you find out. Like I just found out last week, one of the order forms that we set up for kind of a side thing, there was a discount code field, and there's no discount code. But I can't tell you how it happened. Things happened. Everyone who looked at it missed it. But there was the place to put in the discount code. So of course, people, they stop buying, they go searching the internet for the discount code. And I don't know how many months that would have sat out there where we were all blind to it. But one of the people said, hey, I see the discount code. So we replied and we gave them a small discount just for taking the time to ask the question. And there's no code. Good on you for taking 5 minutes to ask this question. So we try to reward people. So that would actually be an interesting show. I don't know if we could ever enforce that, David, but like we should have the order form episode. Maybe I actually wrote that down. Maybe the emails we'll send out. We will strongly encourage it for next time. Just something.
Have you ever, that's a great example of something that doesn't need to be there. I've had a couple of times where we've gotten a certain amount of orders for something and then found out that something just wasn't working. Nobody that lived in Europe could buy, or these things were being rerouted and something was happening and we fixed it. And all of a sudden we got more orders. Just look out for stuff like that. Like, how do you do that, Stan? How do you just test?
Yeah, that's not the copy, right? That's the thing. If you're the copywriter, it's one of my mountains that preach from. This is how copywriters can best grow their business, is by not just saying, here's the words, where's my money, good luck to you. Because there's countless ways it can go bad from there. Like I've seen things that years ago, John Carlton warned me about that. So you're going to see people do things with the words I say, and you're not going to believe are possible. Like, and it's just, yeah, like they put like the one I still remember. I don't know how she did it, how she found the color. The screen was a shade of green. I couldn't look at the screen, and I'm not very color sensitive. It was such an obnoxiously bad color. And she just kept complaining about the copy we helped her with. And just the copy, not really the point here. The point is we're blind. We're all. So I would say that's the thing. Like that just comes from being part of the implementation and asking the right questions, right? What are you seeing? Are you reaching out to people who clicked, at least at first? Because these things will happen. Again, like I've been doing this a long time, and I know better than to put a discount code field on a thing that doesn't have a discount code, but there was. Oops. I don't know how it got there. We all missed it. Somebody set it up wrong and 6 people looked at it and 6 people whiffed on seeing that edit. But things, yeah, like what do you normally see? It just because you got to follow a way through, and there's nothing like you got to order yourself. That's one thing we always do. Always, everybody, whenever we put something up, everybody. And again, for those who don't know the back end with credit card processing, it's incredibly simple. Every major shopping cart, and we're way off. Copyright Happy has a like a one-click thing that says don't really charge the credit card, but it tests everything else. The order only works if it's a real credit card, which you can't put in 1, 2, 3, 4. If those of you don't know this, the credit card system has a thing totally hardwired into it where you just say this is a dummy order, and it verifies it's a real credit card number. So that means that like the bank, it's the whole system is really being tested. It bounced from your vendor to the bank and back, but the whole thing really gets tested. And it's processed with zero, like zero. It doesn't matter if it's $1 million product. Right. The whole thing happens with a $0 charge that doesn't really go to the customer. They don't. How
would a copywriter get to that, Stan?
It's the thing to just with your client. What's the follow up? Like, hey, could I run a test order? I want to see my thank you page. And if the client doesn't know that, now you get to stand out. If you don't know how to do it, you can encourage them to talk to the person in their company who does, because a lot of you don't do the technical side, which is fine. Right. But somebody can do that. I shouldn't say never. Many years, I've not seen a shopping cart system that doesn't have a pretty easy way to just, you throw one switch, you run the order, and you put the switch back on.
Rachel says ClickFunnels lets you do that.
Yeah, so they all have a way, and then you can test it, because that was some point that doing it that way, you didn't just pretend to order and then go look at the thank you page. That's a good test, but the better test is to really run it through the machine. And did you land on the right thank you page? Did the right follow-up emails show up? I think again, mistakes are made. Like you're always going to make a mistake. So
I think the lesson is really just get involved in that part of it, right? That's money in your pocket. That's a leaky bucket, because Stan says clients will mess things up in so many ways, right? So ask to see the layout, ask to see the order form page, ask to go through it yourself. And then, of course, adding upsells is such a simple way to make more money for the client yourself.
Look at the emails, look at the thank you page. You'll see opportunities for more copy. One of the reasons I hire people is that I'm blind to it, right? After this many years, I won't see things that are obvious. And if I bring somebody new in, they see, oh, there's no upsell here, or there's no offer here. And then again, a very obvious thing that I hadn't seen where it's one of the current projects we're working on. So again, but if you're selling the copy, that's more copy, right? That's you're showing you're in the game, and especially if you're getting paid a retainer, right? If any part of your pay is on the money in the bank, it's bad for you if if your copy's great, but the money's not going into the bank because the sales copy, I'm sorry, the order form copy.
You mean royalty, Stan?
The royalty, yes, any percentage. Anytime you're getting anything where your income is tied to the gross or the net, or whatever. The client doesn't know or care if they're not paying attention why it sold so many dollars. If it could be the order form failed or the copy on the order form is bad. And so, yeah, just remember this I have tested over the years that makes a huge difference. I split test order form copy. The headline on the order form seems like everything else. It's like you're starting over. It just has to have a quick congratulations, and you're almost done. Remind them like they're so close to getting the happiness. And here's what, just, you got to summarize the order just real quick, especially with long form copy. You've had bonuses and stories. You got to hit. And again, simple. Does it work on the phone? Does it work on the tablet? Oh, turn the phone. Does it still, did it totally go bizarre, or is it still okay? Because everyone holds their phone differently.
Yeah. And also here's what you get.
Right.
Before they order, they got to know, right?
It makes a big difference. So yeah,
it makes a huge difference.
We can probably move off the point now, but I just think you had a great idea, David, that we should probably, I wrote that down to actually try to pull that out for the next session. People show order form copy, because like you said, once you reach a point with the rest of your copy, that was one of Gary Halbert's things. If you brought him in, he only, like the headline and the offer, which are the only two, like he said, he could fix, if you just let him touch those two things, that's where he would always get the biggest return.